Hello everyone! On the first part of this, I will be discussing the overview of this study, which is basically the summary of the study. This part shows you the subject of the case and presents you what you will see on the latter parts of the case. Ryanair, Europe's leading low-cost carrier, is the subject of the report's competitive analysis. This study presents the issues and problems encountered by the airline. As for this, thorough strategic analyses are developed in different situations to form strategies to maintain the competitive advantage in the industry competition. Ryanair's strategies were focused on cost leadership, approaches to customer, leadership styles, and change. These strategies were used to address the issues encountered by Ryanair, and based on these issues, strategic recommendations and solutions were presented. So based on that, this case study is about Ryanair, which is the leading low-cost airline in Europe. The purpose of this study is to develop an in-depth understanding of the strategies used by Ryanair. This study also shows the solutions on different issues encountered by Ryanair and the strategy focus, like low-cost leadership, approaches to customer, leadership styles, and change. For further information, the history, mission, and vision of Ryanair were also included here. This also consists of introduction, the objectives of the study, background of the case. Recommendations were also presented based on the issues, and at the end of this study, the result will serve as knowledge to the readers or viewers.
This case study is all about the evolution of competitive strategy in Ryanair. Ryanair started its operation in 1985. In the first year, more than 5,000 passengers traveled between southeastern Ireland and London. The company is based in Dublin, Ireland, and is listed at Dublin. The company expanded continuously, and by 1989, the company had 14 aircrafts over 600,000 passengers traveled per year. Company history was the appointment of Michael O'Leary on the management in 1991. And since then, the company has shown strong growth among airlines. This is considering fleet with shorter takeoff FL, increasing flexibility of the airport selection. Ryanair is currently the largest low-cost airline in Europe, with a fleet of over 430 aircrafts and another 210 on order, operating in no more than 38 countries in Europe, North Africa, and Middle East. In the evolution of competitive strategy of Ryanair, they went through a lot of challenges to reach their current position. Aggressive market penetration strategy examples are offering low fares and sophisticated services. Market development strategy, their examples are operating new routes. Enable for the company to sustain competitive advantage. The current strategy suggests they aim for further expansion and internalization, their aim being to move from 130 million passengers yearly to over 200 million in 2024.
Ryanair's objectives. First, to know why Ryanair Airline is the most leading low-cost fare airline. Second, to determine the issues and concerns about the airline and how to give solution to overcome it. And last, to know the strategy focused in the study.
Good day everyone, this is April Arandan. I'll be tackling about the background of our case, which is Ryanair. So let's start answering the questions. What is Ryanair? Who are these certain individuals involved or related in Ryanair? Where Ryanair was derived from, when did it start, and how is it going? Ryanair is an Irish ultra-low-cost airline founded in 1984 as Dundren Enterprises by Christopher Ryan, Liam Lonergan, the owner of Irish travel agent Club Travel, and Irish businessman Tony Ryan, founder of Guinness Fleet Aviation. The airline was shortly renamed Ryanair and began its operations in 1985, flying a 15-seater turboprop aircraft between Waterford Airport in the southeast of Ireland and London Gatwick. It is headquartered in Swords, Dublin, with its primary operational bases at Dublin and London Stansted airports. It forms the largest part of the Ryanair Holdings family of airlines and has Ryanair UK Buzz and Malta Air as sister airlines. The aircraft was so small that the cabin crew had to be shorter than 5 feet and 2 inches in order to operate in the cabin. By the end of the first year, Ryanair had serviced 82,000 passengers with only 2 routes in operation. The airline was an instant success because of its ability to keep its prices less than half of competing fares. For instances, in 1986, Ryanair was able to charge £99 for a flight from Dublin to London, while British Airways' lowest fare for the same flight was £290. As a result, Europe's first airfare war broke out, and Aer Lingus and British Airways began cutting prices in order to compete. Growth continued until 1990, when Ryanair ended the year with £20 million in the losses due to intense competition within Aer Lingus and British Airways. Ryanair chose to follow the lead of Southwest Airlines in the United States and rebranded themselves as Europe's first low-fare airline. They also gained an entirely new management team. Under the new management team, a major overhaul of the airline was undertaken in 1990 to 1991, with Ryanair relaunched as the first of a new breed of a low fares, no frills. They disposed of the unnecessary expenses such as free in-flight drinks and expensive meals. By cutting costs, Ryanair was able to get the same £99 ticket down to £59, which led to customers lining up for 3 days straight in order to claim tickets at the lowest rate ever. Also, the non-profitable routes was eliminated. The network was cut back from 19 to just 5 routes. The turboprop aircraft were disposed of, and airfares across the remaining network were substantially reduced within 70% of all seats offered at the 2 lowest fares. In 1995, Ryanair successfully beat out Aer Lingus and British Airways by becoming the largest passenger airline on the Dublin to London route. It also became the largest Irish airline operating in and out of Dublin. Continued accomplishments led to the company going public on the Dublin and Nasdaq stock exchanges in 1997. The share price more than doubled on the first of trading. In 1999, Ryanair financial reporting switched from pounds to euros. The raise was used to expand the airline into a pan-European carrier. Revenues have risen from €231 million in 1998 to €1,843,000 in 2003 and to €3,013,000 in 2010. Similarly, net profits have increased from €48 million to €339 million over the same period. In 1999, Ryanair announced its next major investment program with a huge $2 billion order for up to 45 Boeing 737-800 series aircraft and expanded its European routes. Also within the year, Ryanair was awarded Airline of the Year by the Irish Air Transport Users Committee and was voted one of the best managed airlines in the world by the International Aviation Week magazine. In 2000, it launched www.ryanair.com, which became Europe's largest booking site, with over 50,000 bookings per week by offering low airfares starting from as little as £9 return plus taxes on the Dublin-London routes. The airline has continued rapidly in the new century despite other airlines copying aspects of its low fares. No frills business model. It has become the largest airline in Europe and has spread its activities far beyond its Irish roots and operates throughout Europe. According to a research study written on the month of January year 2015 by Nicole Blake Tran, Jamie Perkinson, Karen Sinnerberg, Lionel Tarico, and Jeffrey S. Harrison at the Robinson School of Business, University of Richmond. Ryanair owns and operates about 300 Boeing 737-800 aircraft and has 1,600 service routes spanning across Europe and North Africa. There are approximately 9,500 Ryanair employees, including over 1,200 pilots. The company sets itself apart from competitors, not only in terms of low prices, but also by its excellent on-time flight record. It provides no frills, just the most basic services that will get a customer from point A to point B. And this information about Michael O'Leary that contributes also in the history of Ryanair. Michael O'Leary is an Irish businessman who began his career at Ryanair as a director in 1988 and became deputy chief executive in 1991. In 3 short years, O'Leary was promoted to Chief Executive Officer, where he used his studies of Southwest Airlines business model to further develop Ryanair's low-cost pricing model. Since his appointment, the company has shown strong growth among airlines. The Ryanair business model repeats the American low-cost carrier, or LCC, Southwest Airlines on 2013. Ryanair's mission. Ryanair aims to offer low fares that generate increased passenger traffic while maintaining a continuous focus on cost commitment and operating efficiencies. Vision: to firmly establish itself as Europe's leading low fares scheduled passenger airline through continued improvements and expanded offerings of its low fare service. Values: Ryanair is committed to bring customers the lowest fares and most on-time flights out in comparison to all competitors. Most importantly, our safety issues, punctuality, near-perfect baggage handling, and the green policy. Goals: Ryanair plans to increase efficiency and low cost even further in comparison to industry rivals. The company wants to become the second largest international airline.
Okay, so now let's move on and talk about the issues concerning the Ryanair Airlines. Before reaching the top and their ultimate goal, which is to be the leading low-cost fare airline, Ryanair experienced and faced difficulties through the past years of running their business. So let's not beat around the bush and get started. First, the employment conditions. Ryanair is notorious for its high staff turnover, which affects its reputation as an employer. According to Business and Human Rights Resource Center, in 2019, Ryanair's pilots across the world voted among their respective unions to strike a protest over poor working conditions, including wages and benefits. They were also alleged to force their employees to pay tens of thousands of euros for training. The utilization of employees, poor remuneration package, and minimal training are some of the issues that has need to be considered by the airline when it comes to employees' condition. Second, the customer service. It is commonly known that Ryanair isn't best when it comes to customer relations. Ryanair has always been criticized for many aspects of its poor customer services. According to The Economist, Ryanair's cavalier treatment for passengers had given a deserved reputation for nastiness. It means Ryanair treat their passengers with utmost rudeness. For example, in year 2002, they refused to provide wheelchairs for disabled passengers, which angered the disabled rights groups. The airline argued that this provision was the airport authorities' responsibilities. But according to U.S. Department of Transportation, when a passenger with disability requests assistance from an airline, the airline itself is required to promptly provide the requested assistance. In this case, Ryanair was clearly at fault. Another example is in year 2012. A 69-year-old woman with colostomy was refused to bring her medical kit on board despite of having a letter of permission from her doctor explaining that she need to carry the bag with her, where in fact it is allowed to bring it inside because it's necessary and important. With this kind of treatment with their passengers, Ryanair Airlines surely deserve their reputation for nastiness. And lastly, the no-frills, ancillary revenue and in-flight services. In order to keep the price low of Ryanair's flights, they removed the non-essential products that was offered to the passenger, which is called the no-frills. The Ryanair aircraft was delivered with a non-reclined seats. Also, the space within each seat can numb your legs because it's too narrow that you cannot straighten your legs. No seat back pockets. Safety cards were placed at the back of the seats. Life jackets were stowed overhead rather than under seat. So, over 20% of Ryanair's revenue is generated from ancillary revenues. These are incomes coming from sources other than ticket fares. For example, foods and drinks purchase was a part of Buy on Board program. Also, the check-in luggages and passengers using the toilet was charged with extra services. So, this is where the ancillary revenue comes from.
Ryanair needs to ensure their customers. In the first solution, it is necessary if the airline was focused to those things that can come up to the brighter one, especially when it comes to the airline's terms and conditions towards their customer satisfaction. People are willing to patronize the given service of the airline if it is good. You must consider the customer's feedback and comment for you to find out what must you do and must provide. Second solution is Ryanair's employee retainment. If you want to stay in your successful industry, you must also consider your employees' hard work and good service. Incentive and recognition affairs can support the Ryanair's employee become productive at work. Make them feel that your achievement is also their achievements. Don't let them feel that they were just an employee. Push them to perform better. Attract individuals when recruiting and retain them. Motivating the employee will give them a service of satisfaction, the feeling that they mean something to the company's airline. Last solution is Ryanair sought a way to reduce operating costs and lower ticket. So, Ryanair noticed the breakthrough of their profits. They were forced to change into a business model. Every company needs to evolve to grow and leads to a new challenge.
Recommendations. Now, after a thorough analysis of Ryanair's case, these recommendations were formed for a better course of actions to remain competitive. It is true that the strategies used by Ryanair are successful strategies as it is now the leading low-cost airline in Europe. However, they fail to give value to other aspects like in customer service and employment conditions. Ryanair should also focus on their customers, offer them products and services that will surpass their expectations rather than meeting it. They should also make sure that they are able to provide what the customers need for a more comfortable travel. With regards to their safety and security, Ryanair should make sure that their customers will be at ease as they can fly and accommodate them safely throughout their travel. In terms of employment condition, Ryanair should also take care of their employees, maintain good relationship with the employees, and value them like the customers. Ryanair should also organize training programs for the employees to enhance their skills and expand their knowledge for better performance and provide better services. With improved customer service and better employment condition, Ryanair can attract more customers and ensure long-term success. Ryanair can also continue their low-cost strategy, but with new competitors and existing low-cost competitors, it is better to improve its existing products and services and focus on the needs of its customers.
In conclusion, if Ryanair can address the problems using the solution presented, positive outcomes and success of business will be the result. With better customer service, Ryanair Airline will have a better relationship with the customers and passengers. This will also attract more customers and customer patronage will increase, bringing more sales and profits to the airline. In addition, customer satisfaction will also improve and the former issues in relation to customer services will go down. Just like the customer service, if Ryanair's employees are well trained, they will have a better work performance. Taking good care of the employees will also be beneficial to the airline because employees will be able to provide better services to the customers that will exceed their expectations, which leads to good employee reputation and more customers. And as for no frills, Ryanair Airline will help their customers or passengers to shift their behaviors into carrying less luggage, and it simplifies their operations for better understanding. With this kind of strategy, Ryanair will earn higher revenues from their low-cost production and it will grow until they reach their success.
For further information, here are some strategy focused on this case study. First, the cost leadership competitive strategy. This kind of strategy aims to earn higher returns by establishing a competitive advantagement through offering product or services at the lowest price. Ryanair used this strategy to increase their airline efficiencies, reduce their product cost, and product the least expensive good in order to gain market share. Second, the approaches to customer service. According to Ryan's 2008, Ryan's has used its low cost fare to obtain a competitive advantagement in the airline industry. The fare are used to lure customers that result in increased demand since they are provided with high quality service with low fares. The airline has also resorted to an online reservation. This means that customers are unable to book flights on a real-time basis. And lastly, the leadership style. According to Nagbara, the Ryanair followed the aquatic leader, which means O'Leary, controls all the decisions and takes very little inputs from other group members. The strict and dynamic approach of Michael resulted in the rapid expansion of Ryanair in such a small group span of time with low cost and low price business model.